Expectations for Kenny Dillingham and the Arizona State Sun Devils continue to be kind of a question. We're not really sure what to expect from him coming into this year. Is this another year where he needs time to continue that rebuild and replenish the talent to figure out what this roster needs? Or should we expect bigger things? We look at the top 10 returning players and talk about what expectations should be in 2024. We start with the obvious. Cam Scatabo comes in from the FCS Sacramento State and proves that he did not need time to acclimate to the Power Five level. 783 yards and 9 touchdowns, also added 286 yards through the air and another score as a receiver. He is someone who is going to be the leader of this team. Now, he's got a little bit more company when it comes to the running back position, and it's going to be fun to see what he's capable of doing even with a shared backfield. Showed what he could do last year, and that was his first year getting used to a new level of competition. And the rushing attack, though it wasn't great, is going to fall on him, pretty much on him. But even though there'll be a little bit of a rotation, you're going to see a guy who is going to get a majority of those carries until further notice. And they've shown already that they're going to find ways to get him in the open field in the passing attack as well. Going to the defensive side of the ball, this is a group that must get better in 2024. Prince Dorba could be one of those guys that helps lead that charge. 9.5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, someone who can be disruptive for this defensive line and someone who can really get this defense back up to speed, back to where they need to be. This is a group that struggled in many categories defensively, but I think getting to the quarterback could be a way to help elevate that pass defense. And one of the worst pass defenses in college football. They were pretty good against the run, though. So it means that they were disruptive enough to thwart a bunch of rushing attacks, but then teams just went to the pass and they weren't really able to slow them down. So the defensive line obviously plays a huge role. The secondary plays a role in that as well. But this defense as a whole must take a step forward, especially if the offense needs some time. Sticking with that defense, Shamari Simmons is someone who does a little bit of everything for this defense. And maybe that was out of necessity last year. They needed him to do that in order to succeed at times. But now they're hoping that he doesn't have to do as much. Maybe you can see him more as a passing defender rather than having to stick near the line of scrimmage and make up plays or mop up certain plays that have reached the second and third levels. He is someone who comes in after a big year for him. And again, filled up the box score, but he is someone who's hoping that he can take a step forward in more as a pass defender, like I said, instead of having to help with the run as much. Again, when you're looking at this team and what it needs to do. The defense as a whole needs to take a step forward, like I said before. And Shamari Simmons is a talented player who can make that happen. A lot of the offense really hinges on who wins the quarterback battle. Is Jeff Sims going to be that guy? Can they find a way to exploit the talent level that Nebraska wasn't able to get from him? And Jeff Sims plays a huge role in that. But you also have potential players that could be monsters for this offense, and Raleek Brown is one of them. Doesn't have the greatest stats of any player that you're going to see, but his talent is undeniable. The speed that he brings to the table fits in Dillingham's system really well, and it's a matter of finding ways to get him the football. Now he's moved out to wide receiver, but you know he's going to be a part of that rushing attack. And the rushing attack that we talked about, you Cam Scatabo in there. You also get transfer Alta McCaskill in. Now McCaskill has to get healthy and show that he is back to where he is going to be, but McCaskill is someone to keep an eye on as well. Cyrus Fiasu is someone who comes in from San Diego State and is looking to prove his worth coming from the group of five level, joining Arizona State, but he is a tackling machine, someone who reported 11.5 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries, 3 forced fumbles, does everything for the Aztecs. And now he's looking to do that for the Sun Devils. This is a defense that needs playmakers desperately, but you have some of those players coming back. You also get some of those players in the transfer portal. Dillingham and this staff are not afraid to use the transfer portal, and they're getting guys that can contribute right away. Fiasu is one of those guys. Clayton Smith is another one of those guys. He and Prince Dorba play huge roles in getting to the quarterback. And if they're able to do that, they're going to help a pass defense that desperately needs someone to step up in a big way or multiple people. And that's going to help this pass defense that, again, struggled to slow anyone down through the air. And if Clayton Smith and Dorba can get to the quarterback, then you're going to see a group that improves mightily. Tight end Shimon Mateer is someone who I think is yet to reach his full potential. He was at Cincinnati originally as a linebacker. They moved him to tight end, went to Colorado, and now finds himself at Arizona State. He is an athletic player who, again, has yet to reach that potential, and I think has yet to get comfortable with where he's at his new position. This is someone who can be a really explosive player, especially after what Arizona State lost at that position. Shimon Mateer is someone who, if you can find ways to get him involved and get him more comfortable, and like I said, increase, or I should say speed up his development, you're going to find a tight end that's going to scare a lot of teams this year. Defensively is going to you're going to see a lot of transfers, and Keyshawn Elliott is one of those players that steps up and will fill a big role. Now he comes in from New Mexico State after posting 111 tackles, 10 tackles for loss. Someone who can be a tackling machine. Obviously, Arizona State needs to take steps forward on that side of the ball. The linebacker position is going to feature a lot of new faces this year, and Elliott is one of those guys that will fill one of those roles. We talked about Alton McCaskill here, and honestly, at his peak, Alton McCaskill is the best player on this team because he is that good. His freshman year at Houston showcased his ability to be a dynamic weapon. He is a good pass catcher. He is a good runner, and he has the good blend of power and speed and even quickness that makes guys just fear having to tackle him. He is someone who brings in a good frame and has the ability, like I said, to run between the tackles, has the ability to get to the edge, and also can be a factor in the pass attack as well. Obviously, things at Colorado didn't go to plan. There's a little bit of call it drama, but just with his departure, Colorado's just been kind of a polarizing program. But Alton McCaskill realized that his future was not with Colorado. He finds a new home at Arizona State. And like I said before, putting him with Scadabo in that offense is going to be fun. You can find two back sets that really work, and it's going to come down to what is the quarterback able to do in that offense to balance things out. Talent wise, Jeff Sims deserves to be in this list. Production wise, probably not. But with Arizona State's struggles, having Jeff Sims here, it shouldn't ruffle too many feathers because you've seen some of the things that he can do, but you've also seen a lot of inconsistent play. And we saw at Nebraska that he just was not ready for the spotlight. Not that this is going to be easier, but he finds a little bit better situation where expectations are a little bit lower. They're trying to find ways to utilize his talent, his raw traits. And I trust that Dillingham can find a way to make him. I don't think he's going to find a way to get him to the NFL like everyone expected him to do at Nebraska, but I think that he's going to have a better season than you saw with the Cornhuskers last year. You're looking at a guy again, has the arm, has the legs, he has the ability to make things happen, make this offense really explosive, but we just haven't seen it yet. And if he can find ways to be a little bit more consistent, take care of the football, Arizona State is in good hands. Now, is this a bowl team? That's probably the peak for this Arizona State team. Kenny Dillingham still has a ton of work to do. You know, when you look at what Herm Edwards left him, it was a bad situation, and it's still kind of a bad situation. But what is this team do to take a step forward? We saw some flashes of this team playing better than expected last year, but it was also a team that struggled at times as well. And a majority of the time was in riding the struggle bus. Can Kenny Dillingham take those transfers that he's bringing in and turn them into winners? We'll find out what step they take this year, if any, and we'll see how big of a step that actually is.